KZ fam, I'm back with another video, and we gonna be checking out when badass anime fire users flexed on their opponents. Thank you guys so much for all the support I've been getting recently, man. The channel's been doing insane, and it's all thanks to you guys. Y'all know that nothing is possible without y'all. So if you're new to the channel and you enjoy the content, make sure to hit that sub button, hit those likes, and turn on NOTI bells so y'all get notified whenever I drop a video. And don't forget that down in the description we have the link tree to all my socials. But yeah, man, I ain't even gonna lie, there might be a lot of noise in the background. I'm so sorry, I can't control that, bro. It's hot as fuck. Benimaru.
There are many power systems in the world of anime, but one constant thing that's in these power systems is the ability to harness the elements. One element that's been portrayed throughout the years and across countless anime is fire. Whether it's obliterating hundreds of enemies or dishing out ungodly amounts of damage to a single one, these fire users know how to look cool while making their opponents look like scrubs. Without further ado, these are the best moments when anime fire users flexed on their opponents. Let's start with One Piece, when Ace destroys Baroque Works' Billion's fleet.
Hell yeah. Dude, I forgot.
When the Straw Hat crew attempts to escape, they found themselves in a bit of a predicament, but one man jumped in to save Luffy and his crew from imminent danger. It was none other than Luffy's sworn older brother, Fire Fist Ace. With his polite and kind demeanor, one wouldn't expect him to be the type of man who packs enough power to wipe out an entire fleet. What elevates this moment into flex status isn't the fact that he defeated the entire fleet, but because he did so while at sea in a small raft. Nonetheless, their bigger ships and manpower didn't matter one bit when a single attack effortlessly destroyed their entire fleet, leaving behind wrecked ships and one man standing.
Yup. Fire.
Up next, we have the man himself, Madara Uchiha.
Bro.
The man who would take on thousands of shinobi in the 4th Shinobi War. The entire fight was basically a flex for this man, taking on multiple opponents in hand-to-hand combat and subsequently overpowering them when it comes to ninjutsu, all without much of an effort at all. It's when we first get to witness Madara using Great Fire of Annihilation. When Damari uses a ninjutsu against him, he also retaliates by using a ninjutsu of his own. A sea of fire that was wide enough to cover a significant portion of the opposing side's army, with the shinobi army only surviving because of multiple shinobis combining their strength just to stop a single attack from one of the most memorable villains in Naruto history. May God have mercy on the man who decides to step in his way. Let's move on to Yu Yu Hakusho, Hiei's Dragon of the Darkness Flame devouring Zeru. With the Dark Tournament arc well on its way, Hiei and Zeru now find themselves to be the next in line to fight. After a heated exchange of words where they basically insulted each other, the fight opens up with Zeru on the advantage as he unleashes a barrage of fireballs and subsequently powers himself up by absorbing the heat he emits, giving his body an ethereal reddish glow. But with all that effort, it still wouldn't be enough to take Hiei out. With him taking out his Jargon Eye and unleashing the Dragon of the Darkness Flame, Zeru is frozen in fear as Hiei unleashed the attack with enough force that the whole arena felt its intense presence and power, completely disintegrating his entire being, only leaving behind a shadow of his body in the arena walls. Hiei stands victorious, albeit wounded because of the intensity of the attack. Without a doubt, an overkill move. That's what we all came here to see. Some good old-fashioned flexing. Next up, we have Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Roy Mustang versus Lust.
Yeah. That was fun.
With episode 19's wild development, Alphonse and Riza found themselves cornered by Lust, with Riza reaching her breaking point and Alphonse barely holding off Lust's attacks. It seemed like death was knocking on their doors. But one voice broke through all that chaos, with Roy Mustang entering the fray. The tide of the battle was turned to their favour. With Alphonse's quick thinking, making a wall to protect him and Riza, Roy then unleashes a barrage of hellfire upon Lust. What makes this battle memorable isn't the fight itself, but instead what transpired before the fight. With Roy intentionally burning his own flesh to cauterize the wound he previously got from Lust,
that was actually crazy. He burned his own shit.
And carving a transmutation circle on his hand whilst using flint as ignition, the battle ended when Lust was overwhelmed by his flames, slowly crumbling away to nothingness. With his ingenuity and quick thinking, Roy comes out on top. Whilst making a fire user list, you couldn't miss out the most famous and iconic fire users out there, so Natsu Dragneel is taking his spot at number 7.
I love this, man.
On the 4th day of the Grand Magic Games and on its last fight of the day, Natsu took on 2 of Saber-Tooth's strongest members. Despite the pair doing their best and unleashing a massively powerful spell, all of that is nothing when hurled to the Fire Mage himself, who countered with a powerful spell, rendering theirs useless and subsequently knocking them down and out of the competition. Now, one might not like the whole power of friendship that Fairy Tail commonly uses, but you can't deny the absolute flex that is fighting 2 of the most powerful Dragon Slayers the Saber-Tooth Guild has and coming out on top.
Yeah.
Next on our list of fire users, we have the father of Shoko Todoroki, the new #1 pro hero himself, Endeavor. What do you do when you encounter an enemy that adapts to fire? If you answered bringing in more fire, then you might just be right along the alley of Endeavor himself. This moment comes from his battle with the high-end Nomu nicknamed Hood, an enemy that he had a hard time dealing with because of its unique regeneration quirk, even with the help of Hawks, the #2 pro hero. And with all of it being watched by civilians in the city and live on television, Endeavor had no choice but to chuck that Nomu into the stratosphere where he can go all out. He then goes beyond his limits and chants the motto that he's hated for so long, using a maximum power heat ray to burn away Nomu with a plus ultra prominence burn. The attack resembles a giant fireball illuminating the city below, giving hope to the masses and striking fear into the hearts of villains. All hail the new #1 hero.
The way he said it.
The next flex comes from Lion Sin of Pride himself, the almighty Escanor from the 7 Deadly Sins. You've probably guessed which moment this is. That's right, this is Escanor's introduction in Season 2 of 7 Deadly Sins. It's just such a badass moment that it almost feels wrong to leave it out of this list if we're talking about fire users flexing on their opponents. What's better than flexing against one enemy? Flexing against 2 enemies, of course. Escanor hands down one of the most satisfying beatdowns to 2 of the 10 commandments, Galend and Molescula. This scene not only shows us Escanor's power, but also his personality, as by the end of it all, he seems bored and disappointed at how weak the demon's attacks were, showing why he's called the Lion Sin of Pride.
Sunshine!
When talking about fire users in anime, we can't avoid talking about the anime that's about fire users themselves.
Benimaru.
Fire Force has tons of cool characters, but
What the fuck is that in the background, bro? It's too hot to close my window, bro. I am so sorry. I can't do shit.
If we had to choose one, it's going to be the captain of the 7th Company, Benimaru Shinmon. Due to him possessing both 2nd and 3rd generation abilities, Benimaru is an expert in all types of combat, and his abilities allow him to create destructive long-range projectiles, redirect external heat sources and gunfire, amplify his martial arts, and nullify and redirect almost any pyrokinetic attacks. This, coupled with his incredible skills, makes Benimaru one of, if not the most powerful character in all of Fire Force. He's literally said to be Akala himself, which in Buddhist mythology is said to be a wrathful deity and protector of righteousness. This particular fight not only shows just how willing he is to help and protect his people, but also gave us one of the most ungodly sound effects in recent memory. The opponent wasn't even a pushover, as the demon Infernal was shown to dominate the fight against Shinra and Arthur, and even shrug off the initial blows of the captain. It was only after taking the demon down to the night skies did Benimaru finally let his overwhelming power loose. Finally, we have the most recent anime on our list, Bleach 1000-Year Blood War.
Yamamoto. The
beloved shonen anime returns for its final story arc and gives the captain commander of the Gotei 13 his much-awaited limelight. His fight against the main villain Yuha finally shows us his Bankai Zanka no Tachi, a sword of tremendous flame. Said flames within the blade burn anything it cuts out of existence. It also has the ability to call on the corpses it's burned over the many years. It's so dangerous. The Retsu Unohana believes that the flames of Zanka no Tachi could incinerate the entirety of Seoul society if left active for too long. While the Yuha he fights is revealed to be a clone at the very end, it's still important to note how he managed to make the imposter look like a normal grunt against his blade's flames. Props to Kubo for making this old man so badass in this final fight. The visuals of the gigantic flames gathering into the blade were top notch, as is the devastation caused by the fight in Seoul society. Rest in pieces, Yamamoto. And those are my favorite moments when fire users flex.
Fire, bro. Anyways, y'all, KZ fam, stay positive, stay healthy, and most definitely keep that strong mentality, man. Out.